Hi guys, welcome back to Adulting with Sam. I'm Sam. So if you're new here, welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Don't just watch. Give this video a thumbs up. So this is marriage advice from a divorce lawyer. So I'm a practicing lawyer, like I'm in private practice. I've been practicing for a few years, let's just say a few years. So in the few years that I've been practicing, I've dealt with a number of divorce cases, such that like where I work, like in the law firm that I work, people are like, you're like a divorce lawyer. Like I don't just do divorce, obviously, but I've handled a number of divorce cases. So should we be getting marriage advice from a divorce lawyer? Definitely, because I've handled these cases, these divorce cases, and I see a lot of, glitches and things like that, and like things that I'm thinking like, if these people had done this, maybe the marriage would have survived, or something like that. But obviously, it's not like divorce is a bad thing. More on that later. Obviously, not just because I'm a divorce lawyer, but because there are times. Okay, I'll talk about that later. So yes, welcome. Let's talk about. I think the first thing that you need to know about marriage is you can't change the person you marry. Like, I guess this is something that people should talk about before they even, get married. Like this should be like an important topic in premarital counseling. Like, you cannot change the person you marry. You marry who you marry, and that's that. You divorce who you marry, and that's that. Like, you can't change a person. You're not God. You can't create your own person. Otherwise, like, a lot of these issues that you have with your person are like issues that you had when you were dating. So you can't expect those things to just change because you're now married. Like, I hear a lot of people go like, oh, but now he's a husband and now he's a father and I expect better of him. Like, it's not going to work. All right. So I think I need to get someone from the door. Otherwise, I'm going to keep hearing a lot of knocking. So more on this topic later. Okay, and we are joined by Mr. Malakai because he was knocking on the door. So, anyways, let's continue. I was saying the first thing is you have to know that you cannot change the person you marry. You're not God. So, don't expect your person to change as much. Even if they change, like, you can't change certain things about them, So, you need to know that, and you need to make that decision like, this is my person. He's like this, he drinks, or she's stubborn. Okay. Things like that. And then secondly, you need to know about this issue of trying to change people. How people, one of the grounds for divorce is like irreconcilable differences. So I've seen these cases where you knew kuti urukurorwa nemupostori or urukurora mupostori, that type of thing. So you can't expect them to suddenly change like their church. So you need to know that, like, you need to see a way of working around it. I know love is blind, and you thought maybe she'll change, she'll come to my church after getting married. Like, it's not going to happen. So just know that you really cannot change. Like, that's one big huge issue that I've seen, like irreconcilable differences between people. And most of these issues, you're like, but you knew this before you married this person, so just know that you really cannot, you really need to work around that. Number two is, what's broken can be fixed. Like, I know you think maybe at some point like, this is just too broken, like, there's no reason why this is going to work at all. So just know that what's broken can be fixed. Like, you need to try, like, go for marital counseling, not just when things are bad, but also when things are okay. Like, you need to go for marital counseling. Just take some time out, and it doesn't have to be just marital counseling. Go for date nights, communicate, just do things together, because some of like, plan together, like, where are our kids going to school, what are we going to do this year, what's our financial goal, and things like that. So just make sure you plan together and you communicate. Like, some of the issues that make people divorce, like, it's so trivial, but then it's just it's just blown out of proportion, and then people are divorcing, and you're like, yeah, this could have been fixed. But anyways, number three, this applies to women. know what's happening in your marriage financially. Like, you can't be, an I don't know kind of person. Like, you don't know. I've come across these cases where the woman doesn't even know. Like, the woman thinks that the house is mortgaged, that the husband is paying a mortgage, and yet there is no mortgage. Like, there's no mortgage or anything like that. Like, just know what's happening in your marriage financially. Like, you both need to be on the same page. Like, this is what we're doing. You can't be like, I'm a woman, it's the husband's responsibility to take care of the finances, I don't really care about what's happening so long I'm eating and things like that. Like, you really need to know what's happening in your marriage financially, because when it comes to separating or divorcing and things like that, it has a bearing. So you need to know what's happening, and you need to be clever about your finances as a woman. Number 4 also applies to women. Maybe because I'm a woman and I feel like I'm giving advice to just women. But anyways, yes, don't be so busy being a mother or being a wife that you forget to be yourself. Like, you forget about yourself. You're just so busy being a wife. Like, it doesn't work. Like, this sounds bad from me. Saying it out loud sounds bad, but whatever type of relationship you're in right now, it's going to end one way or another. If not by separation, not by divorce, then by death. So you need to make sure that you don't forget about who you are, about what you like doing. You don't forget, like, how can I make money. You can't just wait for the other party to be like making money and feeding you and things like that. So just don't. I've seen women who become so desperate upon divorce and so bitter and things like that. Like, just be able to take care of yourself financially even while you are married. Sorry guys, excuse me. Hey, I'm not sure what number I'm on. Filming with this boy right here can be difficult. But then another issue that I need you to know is that divorce is costly. You can't expect to separate something that's solid and be like, okay, we're just going to separate it and it's going to look still look the same way and still function the same way, having been separated. The moment you decide that you're divorcing, you need to understand that, one, it's costly, not just in terms of like legal fees or anything like that. If anything, it's actually not that expensive in terms of legal fees, but in terms of your children, they're now going to be separated from the other. Whoever gets custody, whoever the access and things like that, your finances are not going to be the same. Like, you can't expect things to just stay the same. So just understand that. And then another issue is that, and like, people think divorce is like the worst thing. Like, I've noticed, like, you're divorcing, like, that's so bad, and like, it's not. Divorce is not the end of life. I've seen people glow after divorce, like, oh, is that the same person, that type of thing. Divorce is not the end of life. Like, sometimes it's good to divorce, sometimes it's good to separate, not because I'm a divorce lawyer, but because sometimes the end of something is the beginning of another chapter. So it doesn't mean the end of it. Like, if it's physical and you're in fights, constantly in fights, like physical fights and things like that, and you need a protection order or something like that, then divorce is not the end of the end of life. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. So there's obviously a lot, like, this is like a mixed bag of things that I just thought of saying. There's obviously a lot that I could say about this topic, but for today, let this be it. Just remember, what's broken can be fixed, but sometimes divorce is not the end of life. So that's basically it from me to you. Bye, and I will see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please just take this time to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers, and I'm so happy that I'm now here. So from me and Mr. Malachi, bye. Say bye.